Hey there, Seminole fans. Nole Insiders, Lane Hurt and Tim Lennefelt here with you as we preview Friday night's game between Florida State and Boston College. A rare Friday night game in Tallahassee. Should be a special one. Before we get into things, let's learn a little bit about the Boston College Eagles. They are 4-5 on the year, 1-5 in the ACC, obviously unranked. 15th in total defense, 322 yards they're giving up. 8th in rushing defense, only giving up 106 yards a game on the ground. On the flip side, very, very bad offensively. 126th in the nation in total offense. That's second to last in the country. 312 yards is all they're getting. Tim, obviously a team, if Boston College is going to give Florida State a game, it's because their defense plays well.
I feel like this has kind of been the book on Boston College since, maybe not since they joined the ACC, but at least for the last several years, dating beyond just the current coaching staff there. That defense is always going to be tough. They're always going to have a really good defensive line. They're probably going to have a quality, big offensive line, and for one reason or another, just have a hard time moving the ball and stringing together some points. So it looks like that's the status quo again. Florida State, I think, is going to have to be sharp on offense, and we could expect, especially on a short week, a low scoring, maybe somewhat sloppy game.
Yeah, well, let's get to our stat of the week, and we talk about offense. And one of the things that has helped Florida State's offense lately has been the addition of Nyqwan Murray into the game plan. Here's what Pro Football Focus has on him. On 30 targets, he has 20 receptions. That's a 66.7 completion percentage. That's the highest on the team so far. And yards after catch per reception, he is second on the team with 4.9 yards after catch. Tim, do you think Nooney has made a significant difference in this offense?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I really do. He's been fantastic over the last couple of weeks, and it's really encouraging to see. In August during fall camp, he was really one of the guys who was sort of the talk of the team, if you will, in terms of what he was able to do and what teammates were saying about him. And during the open scrimmage that we saw, he just looked fantastic. So we knew what the top end potential, I think, was, and then it was just a matter, like Coach Jimbo Fisher said, of developing the consistency and the maturity on the field and off the field, I guess, too, like any sophomore would, to be ready to be counted on a play-to-play basis. And now you're seeing that. And look, the injury to Bobo Wilson played a factor in that as well, because Florida State needed somebody to step up. But to Nyqwan's credit, that happened, and he was able to step into that role. And he's been, I think, just really fantastic. He looks great.
As we go on to our key matchup, you have to look at Boston College's defensive line versus Florida State's offensive line. In BC's defense, led by defensive end Harold Landry, who Pro Football Focus calls the 7th ranked defensive end in the country. He has 9 sacks, 27 quarterback hurries, and 17 stops in the running game. This is a guy who's played well. That whole defensive line plays solid. They're a good line. How good does the offensive line have to play for Florida State to move the ball?
Good. Well, you give me these good questions this week. I like this. No, it's going to be a challenge, and I think what's encouraging is I thought the offensive line actually played a pretty nice game at NC State, especially in terms of pass protection. The running game obviously had a hard time getting going, but the pass protection, they only allowed 1 sack. I think it was the first game this season where they'd only allowed 1 sack, so that's definitely a step in the right direction. And then the NC State defensive front is no slouch either, so something to build on there. But yeah, I think this is going to be just as big of a challenge as NC State, if not a little bit bigger. So those guys are going to have to build on what they did last week and keep moving forward. I think that's going to be probably where the game is won or lost. The cliche is that the game is won and lost in the trenches, but this one, it actually is going to be. I really do believe.
I would agree. That's the absolute key to this one. Friday night, 7:30 on ESPN2, Military Appreciation Day. A ton of fun things, including parachutists coming in before the game, delivering the game ball. Senior Day, 9 scholarship seniors being honored. Before we get out of this, Florida State's always had to go on the road during the week on a short week, Thursday night game. Is it fun? I know it's a Friday night, but is it fun to have this one here?
For me, yeah, sure. I think it's really cool. Yeah. It's exciting. I think for most Florida State fans, the Thursday night game and subsequently the Friday night game has been sort of the boogeyman on the schedule. They hated playing. But what you hated was you had to go on the road, face a hostile crowd in a unique setting because of the Thursday or the Friday game, and just it seemed to always work against your favor. Well, now Florida State gets to stay home. It works out really well because of the holiday, and kind of get all of of that. I think it's great that it works out on Veterans Day, and they're tying that in with Military Appreciation Day, so there's going to be some pretty cool stuff to see there. I heard the Marching Chiefs practicing the other day. They were going through with John Philip Sousa, the Stars and Stripes Forever,
Nice.
and I was like, oh, this will be good.
All right.
so anyway, all that to say, I do think it'll be a pretty special atmosphere, pretty unique, and I think it'll be fun. It's good for Florida State to kind of get in on this when able.
There you have it, Seminole fans. Read Tim's 1st and 10. It's there on the website now. And, of course, watch our 3 Keys to Victory on Friday morning as Florida State looks to defeat Boston College. So for Tim, I'm Lane. Go Noles.